Sorel here again. We're going through a little tutorial on how to work with After Effects. We've been going through this in our class a few times here at Cal Poly, and I've done this demo with the Scott Free Productions. I'm a big Ridley Scott fan, and I know we used this for a previous project for demo. I'm going to use it again. I know yours will have at least 700 to 800 individual photos. For my demo, I'm just going to simply use these 120 images. I'm going to drag them into my project file. They'll load up. Wait for a second for it to load up. We're still waiting. And when it's ready, then I'll drag them again into the timeline. And you'll see here I'll bring up a window. It's single composition, still duration. I've already punched mine in. Yours will be different. You'll have to play around with the timing on yours to get the timing just right. And it's kind of an experiment, and I'll show you that in a moment. I have mine set at fourth of a second at sequential layers, and that's it. Single timing. Here's your title, and I'm going to go boom. And it's going to load those in a sequence. So I can hit the space bar and watch my movie unfold as the individual pieces will scroll across the screen. This is about 16 seconds of footage out of the 120 images, the way I have them spaced out. Again, it will take a little bit of work on your end to figure out the right time, but you can do that. The challenge with this, hit the space bar again, is that I have all of this information listed here, but it takes up a lot of space. What I want to do is condense this into one long file that I can add sound effects to finish out my piece. So what I'm going to do is come up and I'm going to export to Adobe Media Encoder. It will bring up the program automatically. I have the program already up and running, so I'll come up with a dialog box. It will show my movie here, Scott Free, and there's this little green deal here. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to start loading my movie and process it fairly quickly. And when it's done, all I have to do is click on this, and I get a little dialog box, and it's made an MP4 for me. So I'm going to take that MP4, put it out here in the desktop of my movie. Now I can look at that here pretty quickly. Let the little movie come up. Agreed. And there's my movie that I can look at as an MP4. So that's going to be rather helpful to save a lot of effort versus having all of this massive content down here. I'll come back to this. I'm going to go to New, Project. No, I don't want to save this. I want to bring in this file now the same way I did with 120. It brings that up. I'm also going to drag in my iRobot soundtrack. I like that particular sounds for what we're doing. And then I have sounds of a hawk screeching. I bring that in. So I'll bring each of these down and load them into the timeline. Now notice how these are all individual frames. Now they go all the way across, and I can watch this thing in its totality. It's one long piece. I'm also going to bring in the iRobot soundtrack and the hawk screech. And you'll see here's the hawk screech, and I can have those as different layers. I'm going to just move the layers around a little bit here and play around. But for my piece, I want to move the hawk screech around, and as we play this, we'll hear that little sound effect. I want to do that a couple times, so all I have to do is go Command D, duplicate. I'll do it twice. I want 2 duplications. I'm going to move it because I want my screech, and I'm going to play around with where my guy starts turning into a bird. He turns into a bird right about here. He's starting to morph. So I'm going to move my bird because when he morphs, I want to hear that sound. So this is what I'll get. I'll just kind of give you a little example. I also have the sound effects from iRobot, and I know by history there's a certain part of the song I want just for my piece. Go to this little area here, I do the little click down, audio, click on audio, and it's going to show me the sound waves. Here's the sound wave of iRobot. I want to go pretty far into this, so I'm going to move the soundbar of iRobot, and I can remember by the sound wave what it looks like. And it's a pretty long song. It's about 6 minutes or so, and I'm going to find that one area, and I just remember what the sound wave looks like. And let's see, I think I did this demo class, so now I can go back and right about there. So this is the part of the song I want, right about here. But I don't want the sound to start right off the bat. What I want to do is I want to slowly transition the sound in. So I'm going to go over here to the little stopwatch on the audio. I'm going to turn the sound down to -40, hit the return key, and start my stopwatch. And then I'm going to move the timeline a little ways, and then I'm going to hit the stopwatch again, and I'm going to punch in 0, and watch the sound come up. Now watch this. A nice slow ramp up. Then it moves across. But I don't like the sound of them so loud. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back and I'm going to go ahead and end this. I want to bring that while I'm still on that sound bar. I want it to fade out at the end. So I'll go back, I'll set another little diamond, the diamond set, then I'll move that out and I'll hit it again, but I'll return that back down to -40. Hit the return and notice how it dips out. Alright, so I'm going to close that. I'm going to collapse that sound box. I'm going to go to the second one here. I do the same thing, and I'm going to bring that down, and I'm going to look at the sound wave on that screeching bird, and I'm going to change the sound of that. I'm going to like do a -15 return, and let's see what it does now, if that's the right sound or not. Alright, the first two screeches. Just a faint little screech. And then when I'm all done, I come back to all this, and I'll go back and do export. You'll bring that up again to export. I'll go OK. It's going to export that. Then I'll look at the last one. I should be able to bring out that last MP4. Bring up the little movie. And there you go. That is how you do a stop action movie in After Effects with Media Encoder. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll get back to you on the next tutorial. Have a great one.